US, Russia, China, what are their objectives on the current issue, and who will benefit the most? Okay, so we spoke about Russia and China. What about the United States? That is the big question. Does the US have no more interest in this region? What is the deal with the US? That's the question. They have definitely left Afghanistan. They have withdrawn from there. They had built up an entire infrastructure uh, of logistics in Central Asia, a northern network by which they were able to supply their troops in Afghanistan. After things cooled off with Pakistan, that entire infrastructure has also been mostly dismantled. So it looks like the American influence in Central Asia and Afghanistan is almost over. The Pakistanis themselves are now in the Chinese camp. So America doesn't even have good relations with Pakistan anymore. So what is the American objective? Have they simply given up on the region? Not quite. See, we know very well that the Pakistanis were supporting the Taliban all this time. They were supporting the Taliban even when the American soldiers were being killed by the Taliban. And the Americans know this very well, right? So, one of the objectives of the US, see, we know that the US has handed over the country on a platter to the Taliban. The Afghan army, for some reason, has not given any resistance to the Taliban. And all of this equipment has fallen into Taliban hands. So it looks like there has been some sort of agreement between the Americans and the Taliban to hand over the country to the Taliban. And the deal is the Taliban will capture the country so fast that it will become free from Pakistan influence to a great extent. And then, if the Americans recognize the Taliban and they give them legitimacy, then the Taliban will become strong in their command over Afghanistan. And then maybe they want the Chinese to get embroiled in this and suffer a setback. But I think the main objective of the Americans is to punish the Pakistanis for the way they betrayed the Americans over the past 20 years. The Pakistani army and the ISI is personally responsible for the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands, of American soldiers at the hands of the Taliban. I think the Americans want to give it back to the Pakistanis by making the Taliban bleed Pakistan now because of the territorial dispute they have. So this could be the overall American objective. They want to destabilize Pakistan now as a payback. And the Americans now are in this big competition, big rivalry with the Chinese. So they now need India on their side to offset and counterbalance the Chinese. So maybe India also has some role in this. We know that the Americans have not been targeted by the Taliban. There are still many American nationals there. There are American reporters there. The Taliban are keeping their hands off. They have not touched any American. They have allowed the American military operations, Air Force operations to continue in evacuating people from Kabul airport. They have not interfered in that. The Taliban have also not interfered in any Indian activities. They have allowed Indian citizens to come back to India. They have allowed the Indian Air Force to land in Kabul, take out Indian citizens. So there is clearly something going on. The Taliban seems to have some sort of an understanding with the Americans, with the Indians. Something is going on. Something is cooking. And I think the country that will suffer the most from all of this could very well be Pakistan. It could be the start of something bad for Pakistan. That is the feeling that I get from all this.